Today on WBLN News, theology classes pray to the Virgin of the Knots. Respect Life Month starts tomorrow. President Obama speaks to Raul Castro, and Ricardo Labrada tells us what's going on in entertainment news in this week's Showbiz Spotlight. All this and more coming up right now.
Good morning, Belen. I'm Alejandro Guerrero.
And I'm Stephen Calles, and welcome to this edition of WBLN. Here are your news for today, September 30th, 2015.
Since last week, theology students have been placing and hanging knotted fabric in front of a picture of the Virgin of the Knot. But who was she and why? Frankie Menendez has more.
Last week, several religion classes offered a prayer service for the Virgin Mary, undoer of knots. But what are these knots? They are the problems and struggles we face for which we do not see any solution. They beat us down and betray the heart's joy and separate us from God. And Our Lady, in untying them, brings us closer to God.
The knots in the painting of the undoer of knots represent problems and the ladies undoing them. This helped me because the lady has made me get through a lot of problems in my life.
With Pope Francis dedicating a special devotion to the Lady Undoer of Knots because of her obedience, we decided to have our own devotion as well. Every time you walk past the main staircase, you'll be able to see our celebration of Our Lady Undoer of the Knots. This is Frankie Menendez from WBLN. Now back to you.
October starts tomorrow, and it's Respect Life Month. Beginning on the 1st, the Respect Life Club will start selling baby footprint lapel pins for $5. The club is also coordinating a group to participate in the Life Chain this Sunday, October 4th. If you'd like to find out more information, please contact Ms. Susie Corzo in the library. In other news, President Obama met with Cuban leader Raul Castro yesterday morning at the UN General Assembly in New York. Both leaders addressed the General Assembly Monday. For Castro, it was his first visit to the U.S. in more than 50 years. The talks come as the U.S. and Cuba continue efforts to restore diplomatic ties. Both U.S. and Cuban embassies reopened in Havana and Washington this summer. Secretary of State John Kerry attended the reopening ceremony of the U.S. Embassy in Cuba last month.
NASA has a discovery about the planet Mars, and NASA says this may have ramifications in the search for life on the planet. Researchers have known for years that Mars has water frozen at its poles, atmosphere, and in tiny puddles on the surface. But images from Mars, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, show that salty water periodically flows across the planet's surface. The salt prevents the water from freezing in Mars's bone-chilling temperatures.
Astronomers have recently found streaks of water down Martian hillsides, and although the streaks don't indicate running streams or anything near a lake, we find that water is flowing at least through the soil, which is very exciting because this could imply that microbial life could have existed now, a couple years ago, or at least a couple million years ago. If we find solid evidence of microbial life on Mars, it could be the greatest discovery of our time, as it implies that life is possible on other planets and perhaps some very near us.
Here's something that hasn't happened in 33 years. The sun, the earth, and the moon all lined up in a row to put on a show in the night sky this past Sunday. It was special for two reasons. First, this moon was a supermoon. It happened to be at Pedigree, the spot in its slightly oblong orbit that brings it closest to the Earth, which makes it look large in the sky. And two, this lunar eclipse was the last in a series of 4 spanning 2 years, a phenomenon called a tetrad. Those can happen a couple of times in a century, or they can make themselves very rare, skipping over a few centuries.
Sunday was a particularly rare occurrence where both the supermoon and the lunar eclipse happened on the same night. The supermoon is an occurrence known as an orbital perigee, where the moon and the earth are closest at their points in the orbit, which is why the moon seemed unusually large and bright. The lunar eclipse is an occurrence when Earth blocks the sun's light from the moon and casts a red type of shadow, which is why sometimes it's also known as the blood moon. This occurrence is rather rare. It happens with some degree of irregularity every 15 to 30 years.
Now, Stephen, what's going on around our hallways?
Well, thank you, Alejandro. Well, guys, today's hump day. Just a few more days until the weekend, but for now, let's see who's meeting.
In room F210. The Robotics Club will be meeting Tuesday and Thursday in room I-121 at 3 p.m. The History Club will meet Tuesday at 3:05 in room H221. The Green Club will meet at Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the second floor in the Science Pavilion. The Belen Bocce Club will meet Thursday at 3 p.m. in room F202. The Key Club will be meeting Thursday at 3 p.m. in the Koshkiwela dining room. Rho Kappa will be meeting Friday at 3 p.m. in room H211. And the Model UN will be meeting Friday at 3 p.m. in room H213. The Film Club will meet Thursday at 3 p.m. in room C203.
Attention all 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students. If you're currently in an honors or AP math class and have a 3.5 cumulative GPA, then you can join Mu Alpha Theta this year. The application and all pertinent information is available on the Belen website under Student Life and Clubs and Activities. The club will be meeting today in the Roca Theater at 3:05 p.m. Please bring your application and a check for $25 to the meeting. The National Beta Club's initiative to help the homeless in our community is almost over. You can still help by donating travel-sized toiletries. The donations may be dropped off in the main office or with Ms. Sosa in room G202 by Friday. The Beta Club dues must be turned in by Friday, October 9th to Ms. Sosa in G202. Now here's Ricardo Labrada with this week's Showbiz Spotlight.
This past weekend, the 2015 Global Citizen Festival was held at Central Park in New York City. Some of the night's festivities included Ed Sheeran, Pearl Jam, Sting, and Beyonce, all performing their hit songs. The night also included appearances by Leonardo DiCaprio talking about climate change, Joe Biden expressing his views on young people while also introducing Coldplay, and Michelle Obama, along with Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg, speaking about feminism, leading to a performance from Beyonce. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is also celebrating its 40th anniversary this week. The movie is considered a cult classic and the ultimate midnight movie amongst its fans. Also on Monday, Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks did a Twitter question and answer promoting their new movie Bridge of Spies. In the session, they answered some questions relating to the movie, their personal lives, and even commented on the Pope's visit.
I think the Pope's visit this week and what that did to my heart and my kids who watched on television and what it did to New York, I haven't seen the kind of healing since 9/11 that came to this city, and I assume came to D.C. and Philadelphia as well. But I think that event of how the Pope brought his humanity, the magic of his humanity and compassion and hope to so many people who were there, physically there, and also just watched on television. I think we're going to look back years from now that this was a seismic, seminal event. There you go.
This is Ricardo Labrada. Now back to you.
Thank you, Ricky. Now stay tuned as we bring you weather and sports right after these messages.
Now on to Mark Novus with the weather. Thank you, guys. Overnight, we've seen Tropical Storm Joaquin turn into a hurricane, but it should be going to the northeast Atlantic, and it should not hit Miami. Let's take a look at your highs and lows for the day. Today we should be seeing a high of 92 and a low of 75 with a relative humidity at 71%. Winds coming in from the northwest at 10 miles per hour and late afternoon thunderstorms with a 40% chance of rain. Let's take a look at your next 3 days. Over the next 3 days we should be seeing highs in the low 90s and lows in the low 70s with only a 10% chance of rain. That's all for weather. Now back to you.
Thank you, Mark. Now here's Francisco Blanco with sports.
Thank you, guys.
The Belen Middle School football team overcame a 16-0 halftime deficit to defeat the Raul Academy on Tuesday. Alex Blanco returned a second half kickoff for 73 yards for a touchdown to get the comeback started. After Rafael Bru ran the ball for 23 yards, in the early stage of the fourth quarter, Sean Bobian scored Belen's second touchdown on an 8-yard run. Dorian Gonzalez added a 2-point conversion to make the score 16-14. Belen's final score came late in the fourth quarter when Gonzalez hit Brendan Golden on a 58-yard touchdown pass to make the final score 20-16. The defense was led again by Mario Osorio with 2 sacks and newcomer Joshua Sloan, who had 6 unassisted tackles. The varsity golf team plays Columbus and Gulliver at the Biltmore Golf Course. Tea time is 1:30 p.m. The junior varsity golf team is scheduled to play Doral and Archbishop McCarthy. The 6th grade basketball team plays St. Brendan. The middle school gold volleyball team will host Epiphany, and the blue team will host St. Agatha. Any Belen Jesuit student in grades 6 through 12 who is interested in joining the wrestling team is welcome to come out for tryouts. Tryouts will be held every day this week from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. Tryouts are held in the wrestling room located on the 2nd floor of the gym. That's all for sports. Now back to you guys.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook for all the latest news and pictures. I'm Alejandro Guerrero.
And I'm Steven Caez. And on behalf of all of us here at WBLN, thanks for watching, and stay golden, Wolverines.